Hey, Brittany.
Hi, Cassie.
Hey, Snarkers. Welcome back to the snarking lot. Brittany, what's going on this fine evening?
Living the dream as one does. Probably not. I don't know. What is the dream? Do we really know the dream? I don't think we know the dream.
I don't think we know the dream. I don't know that there is a defined dream, but thanks for trying to will it into the universe nonetheless.
Yeah, I'm just following MLK steps. It's fine. How are you?
I'm fine, just fine. I'm really hot because it's been really hot at we're on the tail end of the heat at as of this taping, and we don't have AC. So speaking of living dreams, we've been living the dream the last 5 days.
You've been dreaming of airing out the crevices, being able to not just be
Sure.
sweating.
It's a little humid in a lot
Sweating
of different areas. Yes.
feels like summer finally, which is not great.
Feels like
Humid-
summertime.
Humidities are strong.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a real need to go braless in these situations, no extra fabric.
It's a requirement.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
it's girl code. If you're
It's
not going braless when it's above like 85 and really humid or 80 and really humid,
yeah, yeah.
you're a sociopath. I've said
You
it.
are.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, clinical help, medication may be needed.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
legit.
asking you how your mental health is. So, listeners, if you're not currently braless, I don't
Might
care.
want to get checked out.
Regardless of where you're listening, you should do a mental health check on yourself because we care.
Hearts, hearts and hugs.
Mhm.
Speaking of mental health, I'll just start. I'm okay. I told you in Preppy Prep that, which maybe we'll return to a little bit of this later, ever so lightly. In protection of my mental health, I decided to take a mostly break from social media unless I need to do things for the snarking lot or for work. So, it's been great. And at the time of this taping, it is what? 4 days since the attempt on the former president's life. So that was my impetus. So I'm feeling pretty good actually because I'm not intaking everyone's grossness on the interwebs. How about you? How's your mental health today?
Ugh, I'm still on social media for some reason,
Yeah,
although
what's wrong with you?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it I will say these days is mostly clearing out notifications so then I don't do as much scrolling. So if
Mm,
I don't see
hmm
your stupid take in the first little bit of my screen, I'm probably not
First
seeing it.
few, you're not going all the
Yeah.
way down. Yeah, yeah,
No, TikTok's maybe the exception because I'm like, well, what's one more silly dog video? So that doesn't count. But what's one
totally.
more House of the Dragon take that's just unhinged because nobody has media literacy? It's fine.
Right.
Um, yo, I support that though fully. Like I can see I can see it. It can be a lot. Just social media sometimes a lot. It's good to unplug. So
Yeah, we always circle back to use a corporate term. We always circle back to the dumbest shit you've seen in the news. We can come back to that
hey,
later.
do you mean stick a pin in it?
I do. I want you to circle back to what you're putting a pin in. Definitely.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
come
want
on. Hit me
just
with one more.
I'm sussing out the synergy of this request, okay?
Are you trying to get me
Look,
to spit out the drink that I have in my snarking lot mug?
if you don't do it, I'm gonna spit out the bile that just came up in my throat. So I don't know. Something's happening.
On the note of putting a pin in it, I think I also sometimes put a pin in what I'm tabling. Till next time.
Yes, yes. Well, we need to talk about that when we have the meeting about the meeting.
Speaking of places that are ugly, you know what should be banned from the United States is Outlook.
Ooh, hot take coming in.
Forget
Yeah,
TikTok, friends. What
yeah.
about Teams and Outlook? Do you know how many
Oh,
memes I
there
see
is
of
nothing
that when
more
I am on the internet?
There is nothing more triggering than that Teams call. And this is why I know that I could no longer work around a bunch of people, because the just what? Or the string of different kinds of profanities in multiple languages I yell out when I get an email, when the email pops up in Outlook and I get the
Yeah.
da-da, or the
Yeah, you gotta turn that off. Turn off the dinging anyway. Jesus.
I
What's
know,
wrong with you?
but it just like, or if I just see it, or yeah, the Teams thing, I'm like, no,
Shit,
no.
man.
There are some days not even a lot of gifts in the team chat is going to work to undo the fuckery. So
I
yeah,
love gifts in Teams chat. You know, the first time I discovered gifts in Teams chat was at my old job, almost 4 years ago now. And we were undergoing a project management training, and it was tough.
That's
And I will speak for myself in that I was bored. And I discovered in that moment, because we were using Teams lightly at that time, like we weren't like fully into it yet. So we weren't like chatting each other like we do at my current job. But wow, once I discovered there were gifts in there, I started exchanging gifts with people, and it brought me such delight.
it's a game changer. It's a love language.
It is a love language. Like when you can find the perfect one for your emotion, where you're like, I know that that person is going to spit out their drink on the other end of this gift. That's magic.
My last job, we did Zoom, and there were a few
Oh,
people who could do it some of the one-on-ones, or we would just text each other the gifts, because I also didn't have an updated Zoom thing account, so I didn't have
mm,
the full firepower of like the full
the
range of
full
all the gifts.
firepower.
But in my current job, we also have a team chat going, like with what there's one-on-ones and then there's the group, and they are all they I would say they all 16 of them recognize the importance of a good GIF or meme or something in the chat throughout the day. So it's nice to see some like-minded, not that diversity is important, but it's nice to see some like-minded individuals who all have some dark humor, just can be realized we're over it, and just understand the importance of a well-timed GIF, or when a meeting is happening and we're all like, what's going on? And somebody just puts it in their
Puts
chat.
a good gif in there.
It's the perfect one, a chef's kiss, and you're like, mm-hmm. Or you drop it in the chat and then you get back to your meeting and you're watching to see if they will react to it on the
Yeah.
screen. I like doing that. I like to see if I can make people break.
Have you ever had a heart attack and then, you know, we'll talk about, because this could be a whole entire podcast in and of itself. Have you ever had a heart attack in that you like right now Teams did an update, and so I can accidentally click on a chat for someone I'm not intending and send somebody a message that I wasn't intending it for, and to which they're like, what are you talking about? Ha ha ha. Like, we weren't talking about that. Like, oops. So hopefully people on the other end appreciate gifts in case they accidentally get one that wasn't intended for them, but still would be funny, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You ever had that heart attack where you're like, I didn't want to send it to that person?
I've come close. Like I've come closer. I've started the chat. If somehow the order rearranged or something, like, so what I had was open and clicked it and then it rearranged and I started it. Or I did have one, not like it wasn't a bad, like a GIF or anything bad, but it was talking about something in a different conversation than the one I typed in. And then I just quick deleted it. I don't think they saw it. I didn't say anything, but I was like, oh, ha, ha, wrong one. And luckily it wasn't bad. I do fear like I don't have a lot of people that are not on the same team or department that I'm in on there
Yeah,
locally.
that's
So
good.
like I would worry if I had, I do have some coordinators on some of the teams with other doctors in there. Now, again,
Got it.
they probably would be okay. Luckily, I don't have a lot of doctors chatting me, because then I'd be like, oh, I really hope I don't like badmouth you to your chat. Be like, oh, sorry, whoops. Meant to say that to my coworker, because all I had
Oopsie.
to do was say a name and send a GIF and they know who I'm talking about. Whoops.
People would just have to appreciate humor of a gift that they might not understand, and then I might have to like contextualize like, hey, so I was trying to tell someone this joke and I was going to use this gif and then make that person laugh,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
instead of
Spread the
having to
joy.
explain it.
Spread the joy.
I know.
The
There's so
creative
much
way.
joy needed.
Just wanted to test out my gifts on you. Like, hello, something. I don't know. Make it up.
Brittany, all right, nope, one more thing, because you know I'm me. Have you seen the memes of our favorite boy, Ben Affleck? where it's like one where you like look super frustrated, like you're like, and it's him standing against like a brick wall outside and he's got like a cigarette in between his fingers down and he's just like he's
Mhm.
looking up toward the sky like he's just exasperated. I love that one to be like, oh,
Oh yeah. That one's
that's
made
a
its round.
gem.
That that's made its round during some larger team meetings with some of our leadership when
Yeah, that's a good one.
some things are not, the math isn't mathing, and
The
one of the
math isn't
students
that
will
thing.
slide that in the team chat.
2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 sometimes.
Yeah, or some of the like Michael Scott ones where he looks very aggrieved. Those will
Those are
make it
great.
in.
Those
But
are
yeah, the Ben Affleck
great.
one,
It
like
just it conveys just such despair, like in a different way.
for somebody who has not given us much in the way of acting, he's acted the hell out of that
Totally. He acted the
shot.
hell out of that meme.
He did not charge you 950 to see it either.
Conan O'Brien friends used to do a segment called I Knew My Baby Was Mine When, and it's a spoof on People. And he did a one for Ben Affleck, and it was I knew my baby was mine when, and I can't even, Brittany knows, I can't even finish the sentence without laughing. I knew my baby was mine when she pooped in her diaper and charged me 950 to see it. It's my favorite. It's my all-time favorite because
Yes.
it just
This is
conveys.
before. This is before. To just put in context for folks, this is like when we were in college. This is before. This is before he was Batman or Argo or any of that. This is like mid 2000s Ben Affleck.
This is like being an idiot. Like you
Ugh.
were married to Jennifer Garner and then you decided to leave Jennifer Garner type shit or whichever.
Yeah.
Boy, you really needed to keep that wholesome gem around. The hell's wrong with you, man? You made some bad personal and professional choices in your life. Divorcing Jennifer Garner, one of them, and also just a lot of your career choices. Okay? You know, really. But this podcast is not about Ben Affleck, unfortunately.
Thank God, or I
Maybe
wouldn't
a
be doing
future
it.
one. Brittany would be like, I'm boycotting. Anyway, I'm girl-cotting this
I'm
podcast.
I'm
So
I'm boycotting it. This is stupid.
we planned this podcast before the world took another absolute shit, but delightfully so. Like, I mean, because it's taking a lot of shits lately,
Well, I
but
was like, you have to be way more specific. I just like that. I'm like, wow, yeah, what are you
like
talking
took like a like assassination attempt in the United States turn. So we had this planned, and delightfully so. We have some fun things to talk about. We're gonna talk about a lot of fun things. It's gonna roll fun. It's gonna be great. Um, we grew up in rural Southwest Wisconsin, small town, 800 people, farming community, southwest of Madison. We attended college in Madison at UW-Madison. Um, obviously, Brittany, we're best friends from a long time ago, and we remain best friends. We've done a lot of things together in the great state of Wisconsin, all over the place. Um, well-known things, some things less well-known. We've gone together and we have a lot of inside jokes and stories from all of the things. So with that said, we want to do a little tourism chat. We want to do a little Wisconsin tourism, great Badger State kind of stuff. You know, we are want to note off the top, we are not talking about eateries. Next time we will talk exclusively about restaurants. This is about places, tourism, places to just go and do things, not eat. So with that said, let's kick her off, Brittany. Um, what are your favorite iconic places in Wisconsin? Hit me with what you love the most. Things that people easily recognize. What are your favorite Wisconsin icons?
Some of the ones in Madison come to mind. As you mentioned, we went to college together there. Madison, being 45 minutes away, has some of the like is the place to go for a lot of things. If some of the communities of several thousand around us didn't have them, you went to Madison for stuff. So, been familiar with Madison for most of my life. Got family there. I've been on campus even like long before I went to college there.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it was kind of again, I know we're going to get to that even down the line of like what's changed throughout the years or kind of how you feel when you visit stuff again. But I'm gonna say Memorial Union. Something about being there. I know where that is kind of food, but not, but just you don't have to have
Nah,
food. Like just sitting there by the lake. I like to sit by body of water. Like that about myself, I've discovered in my age. Um,
in your youngness,
yeah, my we're sundowning on like mid-30s. So yeah, I've
sundowning at mid-30s.
covered that.
Jesus.
And kind of related to that, there is a path, the bike path right there that goes out and around. It goes out by the
Yes.
lakeshore dorms. It goes out towards like the practice fields for the marching band, any intramural sports. It goes up by the track, softball diamond out there, the vet school, everything. And then it curves out and around and shoots out to a little part before it hits another neighborhood over by Shorewood. And it goes out to a place called Picnic Point, which jets this little
Mm,
peninsula. It jets out into Lake Mendota. And yeah, I gotta say, it's one of my favorite
love.
places. So what about you, Cassie? What's some,
Iconic things that people
yeah.
know. Kohl Center, baby. You know, sports arena for UW-Madison in case anyone on this call is stupidly not familiar with what the Kohl Center is. No offense, not to insult you, but Kohl Center, named for former US Senator Herb Kohl. Basketball, hockey played there. I don't do hockey. Brittany's a big hockey fan. I'm a big basketball fan. So watching basketball for me in the Kohl Center, beautiful. I watched high school state basketball at the Kohl Center before I ever watched a Badger basketball game at the Kohl Center. So love that. And Brittany and I, we will get to this in a little bit. We went to some things together at the Kohl Center, both sports and non-sports related,
We did. We
that were
did.
cool. You remember that time that we were at the Kohl Center and we watched Barack Obama give a speech?
Hmm.
Remember that?
Hmm. I do believe I was there for your first, was I there for your first Badger basketball men's game?
You were.
Mm,
You were there.
God, I just remember that now. We have a lot of, yeah, we have a lot of stuff we can talk about with the Cole Center.
Remember that day that my mom brought us back to campus after we were home and like the roads were like total shit? I'm swearing a lot in this episode. They were total shit. It was like Claire ice and we had tickets to a girls basketball game on a Sunday. Do you remember this? That's that photo of us in the stands at the girls game. And she somehow got us back to Madison for that game. Am I making this up? I feel like that
No,
was
no, we did. We did.
and tickets. Yeah. Done a
Because
lot
it
of
was
stuff
then weird,
together.
like seeing people we do in class, being like, oh, there they are out on the court. And that's fun.
On my court. That's cool.
A
Yeah,
long walk
definitely
back
cool
to our
center.
dorm. Really long walk back to our dorm.
Yeah,
Super,
right. Super long, few steps. Um,
that right across the street, super
right
long.
across the street. Super long. Really, really, really far. Yeah, we lived across from the Kohl Center, like quite literally a few steps across the street from the Kohl Center. And even when we were in the other dorm, we were just like a half block down from the
Yep.
Kohl Center. So, cool. I also love in the Madison area the Dane County Farmers Market on the Capitol Square. I love the Wisconsin State Capitol because I'm a policy aficionado and I just think it's a beautiful building and it's one of the most beautiful capitals in the United States. I don't even care that I haven't seen more than just Nebraska's other than this. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous building. I interned in the Capitol, love it. And if you don't go to the farmers market, this is food related, but and you don't buy spicy cheese bread and eat it as you walk around the farmers market, you're doing it wrong. And the Line and Kugel's brewery in Chippewa Falls up north up here, which Brittany in this
A
mug is a can of Line and Kugel's beer. So there you go.
subtle plug for
Those are my
sponsorship.
favorite. Yeah. Ladies, that comes sponsor our podcast. Yeah, so those are my favorite like places that people would recognize for sure. I would hope, right? Don't you think people would recognize most of that?
I think so.
Mhm.
I'll throw in because you threw in the Cole Center,
Yeah,
which is iconic. I'll throw in Camp Randall.
beautiful.
And not only for games there, just events there. When I worked as a senior, when I worked for the Badgers, the offices were in Kellner Hall, which is attached to it right there. So on the
Uh-huh.
second level, like just to the on the side, same side as where the volleyball, where the arena is, the entrance to go in there. So yeah, spent a lot of time there. Just it's got a buzz. It's got a buzz to it, especially on game days.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so Brittany, everybody knows by now. We're best friends. Duh. Been best friends for a long time. Okay. Done a lot of stuff together. So this question is, what places did we go to as like maybe young kids that we return to as older people, possibly together or not, that come to mind as special places that you have like you got like a different appreciation for, like after coming back to it, or through like going together with a friend that wasn't like a field trip or whatever.
Well, can I throw out one we've been to
That's the whole point.
together?
What?
One of the vivid trips that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah, what is it?
I'd be reminiscent of my third grade field trip, probably third grade for you as well, year before me, but Pendarvis in Mineral Point.
Would you like to tell everyone who is not familiar with Pendarvis what Pendarvis is?
Pendarvis is a little homestead or set of homesteads set in the town of Mineral Point. They are, I think, was it limestone buildings?
Yes, I believe so.
Limestone
Mineral Point is
buildings?
a mining community. It used to be a
Yes.
mining community.
So built out of that, which is kind of rare for the area, and they're still standing, from people from Cornwall who came over and settled in the area. And
You
so,
remembering things from the tour. You're so smart.
got it. I got it.
Nailed it.
So you can, yeah, you can go tour it and look into the houses. Again, they're set up like in the 1850 or 1800s, excuse me, kind of that
Yep.
era. So you can see that was kind of the first time. I think it was nice because I had read like the little Laura Ingalls Wilder books by that time in third grade. So it was kind of cool to see something from around that era, somewhere in back more in that time period, like what an actual inside of a house would have looked like for
Yeah,
that
it's
while
pretty
they would have
cool.
lived. Yeah. So you got to tour it, go through it. So it was mentioned we did it in third grade. And then
Good.
one of the summers during college, we
Uh-huh.
decided to revisit it for old time's sake.
Didn't we? Didn't we? We revisited it and we took my little brother along with us, drug him along, made him come with us, and we discovered very much during this trip, because we were a lot taller when we returned when we were in our 20s, that apparently people who lived in these houses were super short. And for anyone who has not gleaned it through this podcast, Brittany's pretty tall. So she was at danger of hitting her head constantly during our renewed tour of Pendarvis.
Which brought me back to third grade, not because that was before I'd hit my real growth spurt, but my dad was a chaperone on
Oh
the third
dear
grade
God, really?
field trip. And for people who don't know, so I'm 5'11", 5'11 and a half. My dad is, well, at the time, he's getting on, and I was like, Dad, you're shrinking. It's fine. Work on that. But he was like 6'3", 6'3 and a half.
I was gonna
So,
say your dad's very tall, yeah.
and I remember like, especially on the field trip by far, out of all the parents who went, because I'm thinking of families with parents that we know are shorter. And I was like, I just remember like him being a lot taller. And I can remember him in there having to kind of duck, and that was a struggle.
Totally.
I was like, and then yeah, circa late noughties, late 2000s, look at me, look at us coming full circle here, and me being like,
Full
"Ooh,
circle,
I got a
baby.
duck. I don't like low ceilings. I don't like low
Like those
doorways.
ceilings.
I don't like it
We
because I
got
feel
some
like
throwback photos that can go for the promotion of this episode from this trip on Darvis.
I believe there are a few photos of me ducking that you or your brother caught.
I do have a shot of you ducking into a door jam for sure.
With something, I don't know what the joke was about, like I was gonna do something in there or whatever, and then I was like,
Yes, I'll
"Ooh,
find it.
I can't do it though." They'd notice where's like the tall girl's gone. I think there was a little like maybe there were steps leading up to somewhere else that were roped off, and so you couldn't go in there. And I was like, I should, but then they would notice like the freak's gone. Because also on
That's
our tour, I don't believe we had anybody who was short challenged except myself on there.
short challenged.
Everyone else was normal and, fit nicely and everything. And I was like, well, they'd hang me for being a witch. They'd burn me at the stake if we were back in those times.
Did we go, speaking of, so another topic, did we go to Cave of the Mountains the same day?
Cave of the Mountains for me was second grade.
No, like the same day when we returned.
Oh, I think we did.
I think it was all
Yes.
because I think in the pictures we're dressed in the same clothes when
Yes, we
we're
did.
at Cave of the Mountains and Pendarvis. We just made a
We,
loop.
we did because I think we were going to go to Blue Mountains and then it started raining. And so then
Such
we
a
just
good point.
only Cave in the Mountains for the afternoon.
Cave of the
Yes.
Mountains for the afternoon. So that's the other thing. We would go to a field trip. Our school district would take our youngins on field trips to Cave of the Mountains, which is a wonderful cave in Blue Mountains, rural Blue Mountains, Wisconsin. My family, so like my uncle used to be a tour guide at Cave of the Mountains way back in the day, and he tells the story that he would just tell full out, full blown lies about facts about Cave of the Mountains during his tours, just for fun. So,
I could see that.
not a great employee, I don't think, but had fun doing it.
Doesn't surprise me. I can see it.
No, right? So Cave of the Mountains, everyone should go there. That's just such a great place. And it has a great gift shop too. Like it has a
Yes.
really solid gift shop.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes. And I still remember, because of course we were learning geography and geology and kind of getting
Oh
that into
yeah.
stuff in second grade. What's the
Good.
saying? What's the saying? What's the saying inside there?
The
The different.
stalactite, stalagmite? Like
Mhm.
stalactites like hang tightly from the ceiling and stalagmites might make it up there someday or something along that line. Did I get it? Is that close enough?
That. Look at that.
Give me an A plus. Thanks.
You should go to Cave of the Mountains because you'll remember stuff like that many decades later.
I
That's how
know,
good.
right? I know. It was so good. It's so good. I know, like now in my older age though, like, and I don't think I'm clinically claustrophobic, but I think I'm a little claustrophobic. And so some of those like tight spaces, and then also like thinking about like, if you're way underground, like what if you can't get back out? I don't know. Like my mind does weird
Right.
things,
Well, it'll be like you'll know how the miners felt way back in
right?
the day. It's fine. It's
It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine.
I'm sure it's fine.
That's no big deal. I
Like
mean, it's all
Survivor,
good.
but in the dark. It's fine. Outwit, outplay, outlast, survive.
You know where we went in sixth grade? American Players Theater in rural Spring Green. Remember? Did you go to American Players
See,
Theater?
I don't. I don't think
Are
we
you
did.
serious? What is wrong with you? You did a play and like
Yeah.
because in sixth grade we would always do a performance of a Shakespeare play in sixth grade.
Summer Night's Dream.
Comedy of Errors.
There's always one of the two it rotated.
You know what's
Yeah.
hysterical? Do you remember this? I played in Comedy of Errors. I was one of two twins. I was one of two male twins, not the problem. The problem was that the person that I was a twin with was a male, shout out if you ever listen to this, who was way taller and way bulkier than me. So we were like twins, but we had no body similarities, like
Well,
whatsoever.
one of you in the womb just got all the food, got all the headbutt of the other one out of the way. Apparently, it happens.
So bad. So we like I can't maybe were you like sick or something? Like I can't believe you didn't do this.
I don't know. I have no memory of it because I've never been there, and I know people that go a lot. I'm like, every time I see stuff
Oh,
online, I'm
it's
like, I
so
should go there.
nice. Brittany, you gotta go there.
So
I'm
one of these times, every time I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's right there. It's one of those places I forget about. I'm like, I should do it. It's right. It's not far away.
hey, I might have tickets for you in September that I might need to pawn off on you. So like keep it in mind. Um, but the premise, at least when we went, was like to get us super jazzed about Shakespeare because it's a beautiful outdoor theater, an outdoor amphitheater style theater in
Yeah.
rural Spring Green.
We did. I have no memory of it. I mean, maybe we did, and
It's a beautiful hot day.
maybe that's why I blocked it out.
And so this is the change for me. I never have been a play person. Like, so I was super bored. No offense to the teacher who took us there, who was great, and I loved him and he's fantastic. But like,
Yeah, it's
I
not for
was
you.
super bored. Like, and Shakespeare, ugh, you know what I mean? So I was super bored. And then I went back as an adult, even just last year, went back as an adult and watched like a great play, hysterical, super funny, just laughed the whole time in the outdoor theater. Perfect, beautiful summer night. Like you couldn't ask for a better night to be there, you know? You gotta go. It's rural Spring Green. It's gorgeous. You can stay at like the House on the Rock Inn that is literally just like 2 miles down the road. So you can just go there and just go right back to your hotel. It's on the golf course. Like you gotta go. You
Yeah.
gotta go. It's great. They got two theaters. They're in their 45th season, so they're celebrating their 45th season this year. Shout out American Players Theater. Um, so they have the outdoor amphitheater is what really sells it, but they also have what's called the Touchstone Theater, which is like an indoor theater.
Okay.
So you have to watch when you buy tickets, like, is this play in the outdoor or indoor or whatever? Oh, Brittany, I should just give you my tickets. So you should go. Should go.
Yeah, I need to go.
Anyway,
I'll make it there someday.
you really do need to go. Okay, so talked about well-known things mostly so far. What do you think are some like hidden gems that maybe people aren't as readily knowledgeable about that are like you would tell somebody you got to go there? You know, you have anything that comes top of mind for you?
I know some things you're gonna say, which would also
What do you think
overlap.
I'm gonna say? Do you
I
want me
know
to
what
tell
you're
you if you
gonna
get it
say.
right?
I mean, come on. I'll let you say them. So I'll think of,
What do you think I'm gonna say?
well, considering we have a cheese making background, both of us, I think one of them is going to
Look at
be,
me. I'm wearing
oh,
a Pasture Pride cheese t-shirt just for
yeah,
this recording.
yeah.
Cheese Days, kids. You gotta go to Cheese Days in Monroe, Wisconsin. If you don't know what the heck that is, you are missing out. The greatest. It's the greatest festival in Wisconsin. Hot take. Greatest festival in Wisconsin. Hands down.
we're doing a callback to it. We've talked about it in our music episode,
Call back.
or even our first one about when we took the next step in becoming women. At least
Yeah.
I did.
Dear God.
My
Well, I
first,
almost died of heat stroke and you became a
yeah.
woman in affiliation
So
with this event.
it's,
So
it's a great place. No, I spent pretty much every time that it was there from like middle school on up through high school working the our 4-H. The county group had a concession stand thing at Cheese Days. So
nice.
I worked the concessions at Cheese Days at least once or twice a shift there each time. Oh yeah.
Monroe is a community of what? Probably like 10 or 12,000 in Southwest Wisconsin. Um, it's the county seat of Greene County. Greene County is, you know, farming, like all the things. Dairy has like cheese making museum in Monroe as well. So like Cheese Days is an entire multi-day festival dedicated to cheese in every capacity. And Monroe is also like a community that was, settled by a lot of Swiss immigrants. So, they play like authentic Swiss music at this event, and it's all around like the capital or the county seat, like the square in Monroe. I
Mhm.
mean, you cannot claim to be a Wisconsinite and you have to get there at least once in your life. That's my view. Right? Like
So,
it's the greatest festival of all time. You can run a race, you can run the Cheese Days chase. Saturday of the event. It's held every 2 years. The pattern got off a little bit during the pandemic, but we're back on schedule on our even years. So it's always an even years. So 2024, back at it, baby. Um, third weekend in September in Monroe, Wisconsin.
I if you like cheese, if you like all things Wisconsin, if you want to get yourself a nice Limburger cheeseburger for some unknown reason, do it. There's some for everybody. You can watch a parade, hopefully nobody dying of heat stroke.
Hopefully not.
But
It'll be a little touch and go. You can run a race, do all the things. And this is food related, and we will come back to this when we probably talk about best cheese curds in Wisconsin. But you will stand in line for hours to get fried cheese curds at the fried cheese curd stand at Cheese Taste. And you should, because they're fantastic.
Yeah,
What's less known for you? Like, what do you think is like a kind of not obvious, but you should do that thing?
well, so I've done some of them. I haven't done all of them, and I want to. Um, but Wisconsin actually has a lot of waterfalls. So
Oh,
there are
love it.
waterfalls again throughout the state, and I was
Yeah.
actually looking up kind of all the different because I've seen the threads with all of them. I've gone to a couple of them, but they are again all around the state. I feel like it's something you don't really think of when you think of Wisconsin. Like everybody just thinks, oh, farmland, or yeah, farmland, Madison, Milwaukee, Green Bay, boom, done. Maybe Door County, but a lot of little hidden things like that in parks are just kind of off the beaten path.
Nice.
Um, I really liked it. It's in the Dells, Witch's Gulch. It's actually probably a more well-known thing, but it's not a cave, like you're outside, but it's almost, I don't want to call it a slot canyon, but there's like high walls kind of through it. You're outside still, but you're walking through almost like this little canyon up there, like a little outdoor thing. It's not,
Ooh.
it's not very hard to walk through.
Yeah.
Uh, Years ago, I don't know. I like things like that. Like again, I'm trying to think of things you won't say, you won't say, so we can give people a broader scope of things. But yeah, sometimes I just feel better when I go out in nature. So I would highly recommend looking up lists of,
Yeah.
Wisconsin waterfalls and, doing it. You probably cannot because it's all around the state. We're not even talking like a weekend, probably spread it out, but even seeing what ones are in your area and hitting them up because they're in state parks, they're in little areas. Um, I guess kind of piggybacking on that one too, I would say, and I know I'm going to say this probably for one of our other parts we talk about and circle back to it, put a pin in it, but Yellowstone Lake State Park.
Yeah.
So about 20 minutes from us, 15, 20
Yeah, I
minutes
suppose. Yeah.
between Blanchardville and Darlington, but we also had a lot of school trips there. We can
Yeah, we did.
talk about this in our food episode, but they have a dairy bar. Um,
Heck
Hiking
yeah.
trails. Yeah, it's a lake, so there's swimming, boating, fishing, tons of people fish
Fishing.
out
Did a lot
there.
of fishing there. Yeah. Good call.
They have, I haven't even looked if they've, and I've wondered for some of these years where it's been kind of warmer, if they've been able to do it, but they used to have a fishery every February, January or February
Mm-hmm.
out there. So a lot of ice fishing, and they would go out, it would, in a big tent. I just remember people would park their vehicles out on the ice if the lake was thick enough, the frozen ice, which that was the first time I saw that happen, blew my mind that you could drive out and your vehicle wouldn't fall in. Although I
Nice.
guess that's happened sometimes.
If you're not careful, it will happen. Yes.
Well, we did not park on the ice, but I thought it was really cool to see people do that.
Nice.
What about you? What are some other ones we could tell the people?
I will say on the note of Yellowstone, the fishing, like my dad caught a 40 plus inch muskie at Yellowstone when I was a kid, so that was cool. Got him in the paper for that. So, there's great fishing out there, and you will run in, at least when we were out there, you would run into a lot of carp as well. So, yeah, lots of memories of Yellowstone. That is a really beautiful park. I went to vacation Bible school at Yellowstone. Like there was just a lot of interaction with Yellowstone. It would be kind of fun to go back and see it now, and just kind of like do the reminisce tour as you're noting. Well, okay, Brittany, here's a shopping thing. If you are driving between Baraboo and Sauk City on Highway 12, you have to stop at Delaney's. It is a surplus store. It is the craziest, most packed from wall to wall of random, again, I'm swearing a lot this episode, random shit in Delaney's. We stopped there periodically, and my brother bought things like a machete for
Oh,
fun,
yes. Yes.
by
I
which
remember.
he helped cut down some long grass on my grandma's property, just like
Yep.
winging it around. But like, you can find everything from like, I don't know, I need a couch to, yeah, I'm going to take home a machete today
I'm
at
taking a
Delaney's
machete.
surplus.
My vegetable
Cool.
chopping needed an upgrade, so we're gonna just
Cool.
swordsman it.
You just got
Mhm.
to stop in and see it for yourself. There's really no way to describe Delaney's other than like if you're by there, it's right across from the former Badger Army ammunition plant, right across the highway. So Laney's. That's right up there. Also, in that similar area, I would say Tower, speaking of like outdoor stuff, Tower Hill State Park. You been to Tower Hill?
I don't think I have.
Tower Hill and Spring Green is, I'll just leave it at that. Like that's, you just gotta stop there. You gotta be prepared to walk and walk a lot uphill because
Yep.
the hill part. But, and then we talked about this and we think we both been here because we were like, we went somewhere where there was like a museum and a train ride, and our parents separately took us to this place when we were kids. And I think what it is what's called Mid-Continent Railway Museum in North Freedom. So you go on like a little train ride, and there's a little like museum and a little gift shop and just a little off the beaten path, like, what the heck even is this, Mom? Where are you taking us? Like, this seems boring. Why are we here? I would love to go back there and see it because I had to Google, like, I Googled like keywords like place that has train tour in South Central Wisconsin, and came up with this. So I think it's this place in North Freedom.
I think it is because the name Mid-Continental, like I
Big
always
Continental, yeah,
fixated on the name because I was like, oh, I don't remember this being like a famous train passing through. I don't know. I was like, what is this? Like something
yeah.
that what are we going to the Dakotas? What is happening right now?
Where are we going? I
Like
know. Are we taking a trip and you didn't tell us? I know.
Pacific Railway's going on. What the heck?
But the Pacific Rail. Love it. Do you have
Like,
any
unlike
other ones?
Northrop Grumman, train didn't derail. No poisonous gases or things were spilled. So doing
Nothing
better.
was spilled in the nature of this tour, right?
Mid-Continental doing better.
So good. What did you think of the International Crane Museum when we were kids?
I liked it. We went there as part of a school field trip. Fourth
Same.
grade, fifth grade, something like that. It
Fourth,
was
fifth? Yeah.
older. I was older. I thought it was cool. Like I was not really into a lot of that, I thought, and I didn't really ever see it any really around where we were growing up. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I liked kind of walking around out there, and yeah, it was cool to see. It was cool to see the cranes. Like I liked it a lot better than I thought I would. I thought I'd just be like, nah, about it.
Same. I thought it was going to be pretty boring, and then we got there. I'm like, this is actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go back there,
Yeah.
100%. Um, so just recently, like just last week for work, I like went on like went to an event thing that started in Vernon County. And Brittany, I don't know if you've ever been to the Kickapoo Valley Reserve in Vernon County.
Driven by it, have not been in it.
Yeah, I think everybody needs to go to the Kickapoo Valley Reserve. Part of the tour thing that we were on, we sat and we listened to a couple historians talk about the Kickapoo Valley Reserve and the history there of, that land, which is about 9,000 acres. Um, you know, uh, I'll say obviously, people aren't going to know this, like obviously, but like obviously it was once, tribal land that was that of the Ho-Chunk Nation, and then, you know, was settled and things happened, and, a bunch of farms and other things went on it, and then eventually the federal government was like, hey, no, we want it. And then just the dynamics between the current landowners and the former landowners and trying to save it. And there's just like a lot of really rich history, but it's also just gorgeous. And they have different specialized schools that kids go to there, like, like nature-based primary schools. And I don't know, it's just, there's so much there. We didn't spend enough time, but I want to go back and just
Yeah.
see what it's all about someday. And I think you would like it on
I
your
would,
waterfall nature tour that you like to
yeah,
do.
just throw it in there, throw it on the agenda.
Put it in there, put it on the road trip.
Speaking of water, Eau Claire, I know it's well known,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
but and I know there were rivers going through it and a lot of bridges, but I had only ever been there in the last decade or 15 years or so, more for work, passing through on the way
Mm-hmm.
up north. So it was a lot of just staying in one area, like stopping, with a quick trip and get snacks or use the bathroom, because we all know quick trips are the place to stop in terms of gas
Shout out
stations.
Quick Trip.
And or stopping to get food or something. So really early in the morning, or really late at night, never really in the prime of it, unless I was going around a few of the schools there. But I recently ran a half marathon there, and so it went kind of out and around
Nice.
through a lot of town, up and down the bridges and the parks and different things. And I was like, I really like this. This is nice. Like,
It's really nice.
sometimes it's really disorienting where all the streets and the curve around and where I am in relation to stuff. But just even with the campus right there for UW Eau Claire, I was like, this in like the little downtown area and just all the different bridges over stuff. I'm like, and some of the built up ones they have, I was like, this is kind of, this is nice. I like
It's very
this.
nice. I agree. The only thing that intimidates me about it is the driving in it, like you're kind of alluding to.
Yeah.
Like it's easy for me to like get lost in Eau Claire, much more so than like where I live. You can kind of be like, do I want to go major shopping in Eau Claire? Do you want to go major shopping in Onalaska? And Onalaska is way easier to navigate than Eau Claire. I love Eau Claire for its beauty, but I get intimidated by the how the heck
Yeah.
do I get around factor. Um,
Yes.
but it's great.
Driving was less fun, and it was like rainy and stuff there, and I was like, oh, this is I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let the good old phone GPS figure out where I'm going. I was starting to get the hang of it by the end of the weekend, but no, I was pleasantly surprised by just how I was like, wow, there's a lot of bridges. Most towns, have one or
There
they have a
are.
couple over, but just the number of them and the number of like nice big ones and just being able to kind of see different parts of town. So I know it's well known, but just again getting off the beaten path in Eau Claire and going over some of those or doing some walking around in some of those parks along the
Totally.
river even it was really nice.
Love that. That's a good suggestion to go back to Eau Claire. The other thing now, maybe some people know more about this, but um, so I live moderately near La Crosse. And obviously a lot of communities across the nation, but in Wisconsin have beautiful like lights displays during the holiday time. But the city of La Crosse's Rotary Lights display in Rotary Park is or Riverside Park, just absolutely stunning. Like to see an entire park lit up with lights in a community that size, and every night for the month or so that it runs is a fundraising night for local food pantries. So the whole point is you bring, non-perishable foods with you as like you drive through the park. If you want, you can walk or drive through it. And then on your way out, you do your donation, which is great. But it's just such a beautiful, beautiful display. And of course, Brittany knows this. I have a funny story related to experience volunteering at Rotary Lights, which shall remain unnamed. Just kidding. I'm going to say it. My car got locked in a gated parking lot the evening that we were trying to be done with our volunteering experience. And I will never live it down. But other than that, Rotary Lights is great. And
Get
it's
your
Rotary Lights is right across that you can stay at the Charmont in La Crosse, and the Charmont is a beautiful boutique hotel in downtown La Crosse. So you could like make a whole excursion of it, like get some, go to great restaurants, which we'll talk about soon, but like stay at a fabulous hotel and be like right across from this gorgeous Rotary Lights display.
should petition to get that parking lot named after you. Oh my God, it could be called the snarking lot. What the come on.
What the what the hell have we been waiting for?
We could have an
He's
actual
nailed it
parking lot.
down.
A snarking lot we could have
Nailed
a
it
plaque. We could have a plaque.
down.
We
The
could have a plaque.
logo is on a plaque. It's like an engraved plaque with the logo.
Yeah, we could each pick a parking spot.
Done, 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 and done. Consider it done. It's already proposed. It's like a
Okay.
proclamation.
All right, that's fine. I can type up something on the fancy
Let's get it.
scroll. It's fine.
Fancy scroll. This
Hear
fancy
ye,
scroll
hear
will
ye.
really sell it.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Look at that. The best ideas come out of nothing. That was not planned. In case
That was
anybody
not planned at all. It may seem like it was, but it was not.
that was I can confirm, I can send screenshots. That was not in the Yappy outline.
That was very organic. That's
It was.
so organic. It was almost like it came from Whole Foods.
Ugh, Outpost is just jealous right now. Yeah. Whole Foods. Yeah, aisle 2.
Brittany, where do you want to go in Wisconsin that you haven't had a chance to go to yet that you're like, I can't believe I haven't been there yet?
I would like to go up to Bayfield and the Apostle Islands, which
Beautiful. Me too.
tippy
Go
top
together.
of. Okay, well, let's do it because
Okay.
They have caves, they have ice caves in the winter, but they have caves. You could go kayaking around on some of the islands and stuff. There's parks. Again, little communities. Like I want to just explore the little local little shops, little
Love,
things like that. I think it'd be so cool. So that's every year. I'm like,
love.
why do I not go up there?
Why don't you go up there? That's a good
Have I not
question.
made the journey? So we should do that.
Okay, marking it down.
I would also actually up there. There are a few places around the state, but actually one of the ones that I really like that looks the most promising is also up there. There is a dog sledding farm up there. So there are
Are you
places in Wisconsin.
serious?
Oh yeah. And this is not just because of Alaska, but I've looked at this for a few years and I know family who I'm about to watch their farm, the Ginger Brigade, they went Michigan once. I'm sure there's places in Minnesota.
Okay.
But there's just farms that have huskies or have sled dogs, whatever breed or whatever mix. And so you can usually go and like you can meet them and you can go, yeah, like get a lesson and go ride for like an hour or two or something around, depending on it. Costs vary, but there is one that looks really good and pretty reasonable up in that part of Wisconsin. And I did not go this year
Wow.
because I figured there was not enough snow.
Well,
But
makes
uh,
sense.
even so, you don't have to ride the car too. I just go lay on the ground and frolic with the dogs. I
Okay.
would like to do that. What about you? There's some places you would like to go.
Well, I mean, the hot take top of the list is I can't believe I haven't been to Door County. That's like,
I like it. Come here, come with me. I like
yes,
it. I will go anytime. I've been in the winter. That's the one season I've been gone, but
I
anytime.
need to go. We've been trying to go forever. We want to go. It's just like never happens, but it's just like
Yeah.
cannot wait. Really would like to go in the fall because I would like to do like a wine ghost tour,
Oh, you can
like a
do,
carriage
yes,
ride that like does like ghost tours and
yes.
you drink wine while you do it. I think I've heard rumors about this.
There are those. There are also, I've done it twice. There is a ghost lighthouse tour. So you're on
Yes,
those
want to do
trolleys and you
that.
can do that. That's pretty cool. And you can just go around even on your own, once you know where they are and like go in like Peninsula State
Love.
and go in by some of the lighthouses right there. Or they take you in some of the areas in those communities and be like, oh, right out here is where a bunch of ships have wrecked, and like here's where they hear weird things. Again, food, there are tons of little get into that in the food episode, but there are tons of like little wineries, farms, local farms that have a little shop like on the farm and you can go. And so, you know, the food is like they're selling the wineries wine from down the road.
Yep.
They've got the cheese, the meat, like stuff they butchered right on the farm. Goods like pancake batter, pancake mix, and a biscuit mix, like all kinds of stuff local, like tons of little
I'm
places like
hungry.
that.
Stop it.
Yeah, sorry everybody. Hope you have your snacky snack when you're listening to this,
Come
but
on. Come
just the view on
on.
either side, up and down the
Yeah.
water. Yeah, I would the fall at peak bloom is not. I've not been up there for that. It's mostly been in the spring and the
Yeah.
summer.
It's
Beautiful.
really, you have to do reservations like a year in advance, it feels like. But um that's the eastern side of the state is where I really got to get better acquainted with. I'm pretty acquainted with southern, all things southern, and definitely western and a little bit north, but like east, I just never really go over
Yep.
there. So door definitely. And I want to go back to Manitowoc really
Mm-hmm.
badly because when I was, I forget how old I was, but I went to visit a friend across the way in Michigan and I took the SS Badger ferry over. So my mom dropped me off in Manitowoc. I got on the ferry and I went and I, like came back on the ferry. So like it would just seem such like a cool community and we were just there to get me on the ferry, so we didn't spend time. But there's so much to tour and do. So Manitowoc is
Yeah.
top of the list as well.
I've
Yeah.
been there once. I'm actually on the way up to Door County once. I did like a
Yeah.
couple things there, but that was again, I think I was in high school or college, and I'm like, no, that would be a cool place to go. Like it again looks like it's by the lake, a lot of stuff to do.
Yep.
Enough stuff to do, but like still kind of small, like has that small feel to it, like nice.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't again just kind of used it as the gateway to Door County, but that same vein, Sturgeon Bay.
Yeah. Good call.
I haven't spent a lot of time really there because I've really just like, yeah, whatever, passing through to
Yep.
my little hotel room or whatever where I'm staying. But
Yeah.
right there. Looks good. Yeah, I haven't, the northeast part of the state is like the one big area I've not been to.
Same.
Um,
Yeah. Really got to get on that.
Squamigan National Forest, the just everything. Florence, all the stuff up there, Rhinelander and that whole area.
Yeah.
Never.
Yep. Same. Same. We went up north for a house showing a couple years ago, but not quite that far, but more north than we're usually going, you know? So it was it's interesting to see the geography change. It's just like, it's
Yes.
nice to spend time rather than kind of be there to quick in and out. 'Cause
That's
it's
what's so
gorgeous.
shocking in Wisconsin. Like for anybody who doesn't know, the change in where the glaciers went is to where they compared to where they did not go. So we are from the part of the state that did not ever get the glaciers. We
Right.
were leveled.
Good
We don't
point.
have the big, huge bluffs like in the Dells area, kind of from stuff being left.
Right.
We are not like the central, like Stevens Point, Wausau, Marshfield area where it's all just pretty flat and
Yep.
level off. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you go down, yes, where we're from, and it's like, do you not like any straight stretch at all and any like anything?
Love it.
Does the flat part kind of flat? Not really. Like incline, decline.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm looking something up right now because since you're bringing up the whole glacier thing, um, Brittany, are you familiar with um the Mindoro Cut in your travels?
I think I've heard of it. Think I don't really know what it is.
It's so
Enlighten me.
cut in the town of Farmington in La Crosse County. So it's
Okay.
links Mindoro to West Salem. So
Okay.
it's like this cut. It's the second deepest cut because I don't want to get this right. Built by hand in the Western Hemisphere and is the oldest functional cut, which has not been improved upon. So it's 74 feet deep and 86 feet long, 25 feet wide. So you're literally driving through like a cut of, you know, mineral, basically.
Nice.
Um, so Mindoro farmers and La Crosse County officials commissioned the cut. Um, as part of the Good Roads movement, linking a creamery in Mindoro with a railroad station in West Salem.
Okay.
Before the cut was made, the ridge was too steep to be traversed, so traffic to Mindoro had to take a longer route that bypassed the ridge. So it's just this gorgeous drive. Like it's not, it's not like you drive through it, but it's this
Yep.
amazing drive. You just can't even like fathom like this used to be like you couldn't get through it. And they literally like a man made this beautiful thing that is like an icon now. And I will say that I don't know if this is current, but on the note of like names of businesses that I love, it's either current or former. Someone named their salon the Mindoro Cut, and I think it is
Nice.
the most clever thing ever, and I love it.
That's
So,
awesome.
you know,
I would
so
go
get up to
there.
La Crosse County, go drive through it if you're ever in La Crosse County for Rotary Lights or whatever the heck else you might be doing.
Visit the bluffs, do whatever you
There
want.
you go. Granddad Bluff, plenty of stuff. All right, what you think, Brittany? Do you think we should hit people with the normal round now of things? How are you feeling about our travels across Wisconsin?
Did a nice dive, nice initial
Gonna
dive.
dive?
Got some room for some follow-ups.
I think we do. I think we're gonna circle back.
I think we are. We can table it for now, but we'll have a lot of tables because there's a lot of parts of the state, or we've got a whole food thing coming because of course we're hardy Midwestern women. Of course, why
We are.
wouldn't we have why wouldn't we
We
be able to
are.
have a whole hour devoted to just food in the
We
state
are hardy Midwestern women. You are correct.
or just other places again, kind of nostalgia or hitting up things. Either we've talked about already, we've already circled back on, we've had callbacks to, or that we will have in the future as we do other episodes.
Ooh.
Call back some of the
Ooh.
stuff in this episode. I'm thinking
You.
of especially, I don't know, Madison
Oh my gosh.
things. So I like it. I
Come
think we
on.
did a nice intro, nice teaser, nice first course, if you will.
Look at you. Look at you with all your puns and
Yeah, I'm like a
stuff.
Wisconsin sommelier over here.
I'm holding my face for anyone who's not watching this on YouTube.
The frequent pose when I say something.
Such a such a geek in the best possible way. All right, what are you reading now? What have you moved on to? Are you still on the same thing?
Still on the Epstein book. I was gonna say
Right?
still on the Epstein thing, and I'm like, clarification. No. I haven't been with any underage people to an island lately. No. Still on the Epstein book,
Okay,
but
great.
I've got a couple historical fiction books checked out from the library for after to kind of cleanse the palate, if you will.
Fantastic. I think that's
Yeah, some
smart for
light
your mental
reading.
health. Just some
Yeah,
light
I'll do
reading.
some like light World War II fiction books,
Great.
something light. What about you? What are you digging into these
Yeah, just
days?
some light coffee table reading.
Yeah.
So I said last time I'm working on my standard books that I have been reading for a while, but now that I'm cleansing myself of social media, I'm reading more at night. Instead
Good.
of doom scrolling, I'm reading. So I actually
Good.
started the Accidental Saints book,
Good.
talking about finding God in all the wrong people is like the tagline of the book. It's phenomenal. I love it. So I will report back when I'm done with that. Um, and then I just bought because I can't have an Amazon cart that doesn't have a new book in it that will take me forever to read, but I will read eventually. So I was on that work trip I was talking about, and we talked a lot about like the flooding that happens in the region that I live in, and flood mitigation, whatever. So there's a book called The Creeks Will Rise that talks about people who try to live in tandem with flooding. So we grew up in a community that had a pretty big flood in 92. Experienced some of the bad flooding here in 2018 where I live. I mean, not as bad as other people had it, but we did have flooding at our house nonetheless, and it wasn't flooding that we were anticipating, because a dam was compromised, and our community doesn't typically do that. So anyway,
Mhm.
it's of course with climate change and all of the things, a lot of these things are getting worse and worse. So finding ways to coexist with lots of water is something that we need to do, unfortunately. Anywho, all right. So, goals. What you got going on for goals?
So I know last time I said I was going to journal, and I feel like I mentally journaled or a little bit on a note on my phone. I
Okay.
didn't really do it, so I need to do that. Although I also have another book about stuff like how to organize different parts of your house, sort of like
Nice.
at it. And I've been in a kind of I haven't done really much of it, but I'm in a purgy mood. I get these purgy moods,
Good for you.
with things. So it's more about like organizing stuff in different areas. And so I've been
Great.
actually, that's been my journaling because nothing says elder millennial if you're not thinking of how to rearrange stuff right before you go to bed at night. You're like, I'm gonna wind down. Let me figure out how to rearrange the closet or the kitchen or what I would do if I had a place where I could actually do the demolition of stuff myself. This
Brittany,
was
I
there
did some dishes at 2 in the morning last night when I couldn't sleep.
you go.
So
There you go. There
I hear you.
you go.
I like it.
I've really embraced that. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I was up by the Wisconsin Rapids area and I helped somebody rip up basically the flooring of a room of her house because it was like
Oh,
some mice damage with things. Your favorite,
you'll
I know.
have that. You'll have
Some
that.
stuff up, rip the carpeting up, learn how to pull up everything. Ripped up all the stuff, prepped it for new flooring to go down, and I was like, man, this wasn't actually the worst. Like I sat there with the hammer and the crowbar, like pulling off the
Wow.
panel.
Look at you go.
And I was like, this is fine. I only had one place where I have a subcutaneous bruise. Um, I think from the crowbar, not from anything else. But I was like, I kind of like. I wish I could have a place like I would like to redo stuff. So yes, I'm channeling that into probably a place I'll never be able to do it. But
Do you want to channel it into Fed rate cuts next month so that you maybe like feel better about buying a house so that you can do
sure,
that?
I would like to
Okay.
manifest that. I would
Would you
like
like
to.
to manifest Jerome Powell to do some things that he should do finally?
Yeah, I'd like to rip the wood paneling off his in action.
I like it. I
Mhm.
like it.
So
My goal
I
is
guess
still
yeah,
drinking
yeah,
water. Like I'm boring. I need to drink water.
it's
Period.
fine.
I'm
Hydration's key.
perpetually dehydrated.
It's hard when it gets hotter out like this too. And if you
Yeah,
don't have central air when you're warmer, it's impossible to catch up.
perpetually dehydrated. That should be on like a t-shirt of mine. Is just perpetually
That's that. Maybe
dehydrated.
that's your headstone. She is
Yeah,
perpetually dehydrated.
and tired. I think those are like the two most true things about me.
Went together like this.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I think that's a lot. That's most of the population, so you're not alone.
Yeah, I know. You know, last time you mentioned like how you can like a plant's kind of wilty and then you can water it and come back like a few minutes later and it like perks up. Did that with my tomato plant on my porch, and I'm thinking like, man, if I function like that tomato plant, I just need to drink water every once in a while and I'm probably going to feel fantastic. You know, because that plant looks so happy to be taken care of.
I did that earlier this week with the same plants. I have a couple. Most of them are like okay in here, but there's one that gets real wilty real quick, but it's amazing.
Yeah,
Pour like a little bit of water on top, and within a half hour, it's like back up as if nothing happens. And I'm like, wow,
beautiful.
must be a Gemini. It's got two sides to it. I don't know what's going
Two
on here.
sides to every story on your
Yeah.
plant.
Whereas my ones outside are
Jekyll and
just
Hyde.
my tomato plants, my basil and everything outside is like, no more water. Doesn't matter. It's rain. More.
More, 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 more.
Bitches. And I'm like, I'm barely watering myself. You want me to water you?
Yeah, you're being so demanding. You're asking a lot of me,
I'm
you
asking you
know?
to feed me like 3 tomatoes this year, and you want me to keep watering you more than I water myself. I don't think this is an equal. This is not a symbiotic relationship.
Not a symbiotic relationship at all.
No.
Dear Lord. All right. This is a loaded question during this round, the last one. Okay. Dumbest shit or any shit in the news that you want to talk about. I alluded to my dumbest slash most disturbing stuff in the news at the beginning, but Brittany, like, what are you thinking about right now? She
I
got
mean, like I said it in prep, but I'm just have to kind of smirk so I don't bang my head against the wall at the number of people who have espoused, let's say, morals or beliefs, and then it goes right out the window when it happens right in front of them, or when something is reversed, they're just arguing against it. Or maybe a psyop happens and they can't quite see it in front of them. And I'm like, oh, it's gonna make it a lot harder going forward to work together, people. Wake up.
come on,
But
people.
come on, people. Just you're better than
Brittany, you know what I told you in prep, maybe I'll just say it. So like obviously we've mentioned this is a few days after the attempt on the former president's life at the rally in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to be very intentional about political opinions, staying out of it because I don't think it's relevant when you're talking about an attempt on someone's life. But that's part of what got me kicking myself off of social media was when I started to see people saying versions of they deserve it. Oh, darn it. Like, too bad the person missed, like stuff like that. And I'm like, this is messed up. And then what threw me over the edge, which I told you, was the victim who died covering and attempting and did save his family, right? One of the first comments on Instagram. So I will say like content warning, friends, in case you don't want to hear things that are like it's just, I mean, I'm going to say content warning because it's so messed up. Someone would even say it. So I'm warning you before I say it. But the man was a father and a husband, and he laid himself over their bodies to save them. And he died at that rally. And someone literally first comment on Instagram was like, well, shouldn't have been at a Trump rally. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with the internet. I'm done with the internet for a few weeks. I'm done with the internet. You know, Brittany and I are now holding our faces on our screens in case you weren't. We're just like, we're doing like the head shake of like, this is America, kids.
Mhm.
So that's the dumbest shit that I've seen in the universe in the last week. Made me want to vomit, to be very honest with you, like quite literally physically want to go vomit when I started to see some of that pop up on the internet. So cheers, staying off social media except for to do this podcast and work stuff,
Look at that.
right?
In
So
this many days since she's
nasty,
used social media, except for the podcast.
except for the podcast and my other little light endeavors like Friends of the Library,
Yeah. Oh,
things
yeah.
that require my assistance. can just go in and out and be on my way. Schedule some posts and be on my way, and don't doom scroll. That's my best suggestion, mental health suggestion, friends, is don't doom scroll right now unless you want to see the worst of people. So
That's every day.
it's every day, but it's gotten, this last few days have just been
Sure.
complete and utter, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I got a long way to go. We got a long way to go to fight the actual problems when people are distracted by
Absolutely.
makes it makes it
Absolutely.
frustrating. It's like, oh,
Absolutely.
that's what they want. It's probably
I
gonna be
know.
this stuff, and you're missing it. You're missing it. Missing it. Missing
My
it.
friendliest suggestion is consistency on free speech. My friendliest suggestion is consistency on no violence, no matter
Yeah,
what.
well, like I said, I'm like, yeah, gee, people, it was bad. You should probably look
Yeah,
into what's happening around the world, courtesy of this country. Like, that's not out of the ordinary, which is terrible. Like, it's a problem. We should know we should not want it to be a thing. So
we should definitely not. That's the message here, Brittany. We should definitely not want it to be a thing. Should
what are
be
we
a new
gonna do about
tagline.
it? Wake up, folks. Join the
I
table. Join
know.
the party here. What are we gonna do
I
about it?
know. I know. It's so
That's what I
dumb.
worry about. It's just like, oh, this will get its thing, and then it'll just be a background. Like, no. Okay.
Ugh.
Overall message, just
I
getting
know.
lost till the next sensationalist thing comes along. Anything to distract. And I'm like, come
I know.
on. Oh,
I know it's
yeah,
so tough.
I know. So
It's so tough. And here's what we know though. I'm gonna try to be funny for a second. I mean, that dude has a really strong ear, you know? He's got something in his ear that I don't know. It must be almost like metal. It's just like great stuff, you know? Great ear biology is what I think I've learned about the former president's body.
Randy Couture is jealous. He's like, what the fuck? Mine's all mangled just from getting bitten. What the hell? There you
There it
go.
is. There
There
you
we are.
go. Yeah.
Circle
Come
back to
on.
this, just like he would want.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So we're imparting some wisdom of stay aware, some kindness, some consistency. Don't be gross, people. That's my thing. Please stop being gross. Please stop being icky. It's just really, it's not a good look to say things like that when bad things have happened like this. Okay? You know, like, please stop it. Love the snarky lot.
There we
Michelle
go.
holding up a pen that says the snarky lot on it.
Just
All
in case
right.
you were confused where you how who we are and how you got here.
Just in case you're like, where did I end up? Here I
What
am.
what the matrix is going on here?
What in the matrix is going on here is correct. So, teaser, we still want more followers and we will send you swag for helping us get followers. So please do that because we
Gonna
have cool
throw it at the
stuff.
screen if we're not careful
Yeah,
here.
it's being really aggressive with like pointing it
Coming
at the
at you.
screen.
Coming at you.
Coming at you. Coming
I
at
think
you
it's
hot.
he's about to break the fourth wall here with this. In that
The
the pen
fourth
is going to
wall's still already broken.
is
Um,
create a fifth wall where the pen comes out of the screen at you and hits you in the face. It's like a V8 bop.
we got a couple of really great we always have great episodes coming up because we're biased, right? But we have great next episode coming up, which is kind of like the next natural step off of this one, which is the foodie version of this very Wisconsin adventure. So we're looking forward to that. And then after that, we will have a superb guest on a completely unrelated topic, and we will just tease that for now. It's going to be fantastic. We're excited about it. So stay tuned for more Wisconsin stuff next time and a great guest after that. Brittany,
Like
do you have any encouragement for the snarkers in the snarkerverse before we go?
that's asking a lot. Stay vigilant,
Like it.
stay awake, think.
Be discerning. Is that what you're saying at the end of this podcast?
Practice some media literacy.
Love good media
That
literacy.
goes for anything. I've ranted on it before. That goes for like what you consume in terms of for news. That goes for shows you might watch for fun. I did not put that in the dumb things I've seen this week. We'll save that for another week, but anything, just
Too much
stop and
dumb.
think. Don't be reaction. Stop and think for a second. Slow it down. Stop and think. That's hard. I know.
Brittany, I'm making a face because what are you talking about? Stop and think.
It's hard. It's hard for everybody. We all struggle. I struggle. Struggles. Human struggle.
Human struggle. All right. Well, you want to give everybody your best piece of advice and your ever classic sign off before we go?
Remember, everybody, and I say this week especially, always bring your logic to a dumb fight.
On that note, bye.
Bye.